there, I'm Josie. Welcome back to Awakened Soul. I'm here with Carol. We're here to chat a little bit about her singing bowls.
And my name is Carol Cannon, and I am a Himalayan singing bowl player. I lead guided meditations, and I also do it with my feng shui business. So I just love to help people.
How did you get started?
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Well, what happened is I think it was 15, 20 years ago. I didn't even know what a singing bowl really was. They weren't very popular like they are today.
Yeah.
And I was in Indiana at a 10-day Kala Chakra initiation with His Holiness the Dalai Lama.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, me and only 2,000 other people. Today it would be 10 or 20,000.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was out in the country in a beautiful park, and I stayed in town, and every day we'd take a bus out to get there, and there was a whole lineup of vendors, you know, like there often are at events. And I kept walking past these bowls that if you tap them, they made beautiful sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And having a musical childhood, you know, life since I was a young child, I was singing and doing all sorts of things with music. And I thought, what's that? It's not a piano, it's not a guitar, it's not all these other things.
Yeah.
And so I bought my first bowl when I was out there. I went home with a singing bowl.
They were calling to you. I bet you anything. It was the universe just drawing you to it for a reason.
Yes.
Intuitively.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and so I brought it home, and I was living in Florida. I was living here in Dunedin, Florida, and I didn't know what to do with it.
But you knew you needed it.
I knew I needed it. It was on my shelf in my living room, and one day, it turns out my parents were in a terrible car accident up in Pennsylvania on their way back to Florida in a terrible snowstorm, a tractor trailer, and I had to go back. In fact, I was teaching a class. I had a feng shui school that weekend. I was teaching a class and had to cancel it for the weekend. So I got a flight. I couldn't get out until the next day, and the next day I don't know if it was Uber, but I had somebody coming, like an Uber or something, coming to pick me up. And I went out the front door, and then I thought, oh, I'm gonna go get that bowl.
Wow.
I don't know why, but I went back in, grabbed the bowl, stuck it in my suitcase, and went up to Pennsylvania. And it turns out my parents were in 2 different hospitals on my way up, but by the time I got there, they were in the same hospital. My dad in one end and my mom in a critical situation, and so I took the bowl in. My dad had some broken bones. My mom maybe had a broken finger, but she had brain injury. And had my dad not said, honey, move over, we're going under, because they went under the tractor trailer, she would have been gone.
Wow.
So I went to her room, and she was unconscious, and they were watching over her. I mean, she was in the emergency room. And then I went to see my dad, and I took the bowl and I played the bowl for him, and he was communicating. He was able to have a conversation. But the minute I played the bowl, he's like, oh, that's great. It calmed him down. He was kind of a type A person. So the next day I took music back to my mom's room in a cassette player we had way back then, and played music for her to heal her, and then I would go to my dad's side and play the bowl for him.
Wow.
But a couple years later, I was still living down here, and I flew up there again, and I went to visit one of my cousins. And she said, Carol, I'd like to invite you over to meet someone, one of my friends. I think you'll really like him. Well, I went over and we had lunch outside. She has a pretty property down in Bucks County, and we talked about all kinds of metaphysical, spiritual kind of things, but never did he mention Himalayan singing bowls. and when we went inside and they were gone and we were cleaning up, and she said, "Oh, by the way, he has singing bowl classes." I said,
Wow.
"You are kidding me." So that started the journey of flying back and forth to go to classes with Mitch Schnurr at Nine Ways.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so amazing how just the universe sort of orchestrates all of that for you behind the scenes, right? It synchronizes things.
It sure does.
It's beautiful. Oh my goodness.
And so as I learned a lot from him, he's my main and only teacher, really. He's teaches all over the world, and I learned things. And what I really loved was, I never got into gongs, but I love when people play the gongs for me. but I loved playing one-on-one and also in groups, and really it's seeing people walk in so filled with stress, and at the end of the hour, they're just in a bliss state.
Peaceful, very zen and calm. I know, that's beautiful. That's such a beautiful feeling. I know. I'd love it if you'd play some for us.
Yeah, well, I'll just tap a few. I have one in my hand here, and this is my, they're all from the Himalayas, and just to let people know, often you hear they're Tibetan, but they're not all from Tibet.
I'm sure some of them are made in other countries.
Right, in other countries that are in the Himalayas. So, So, but anyway, if you are watching right now, you might want to just close your eyes for a second, and I'll just do a minute or two and let you feel that resonance.
Yeah. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and just be in the present moment with us. Beautiful. So peaceful, so calming. And just feel the energy shift.
And the other fun thing about when I met you, and I don't have that on the bottom here, each of these bowls have a different hertz frequency that they send off, and I am not good at figuring that out. I don't have a meter to tell, but that's part of how Josie and I connected. Through the frequencies.
My goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, I'd like to. Maybe we can do another session sometime where you play all of your bowls.
Yes.
She has a whole bunch of them. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay, Josie.
My goodness,
Yeah.
thank you so much. That was beautiful.
You're welcome.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Have a beautiful day.